The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I am Diego Castro. Slain Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo will be laid to rest today. Degamo will be buried at his residence in Barangay Bonawon, Shaton at 3 in the afternoon. Malacanang has earlier declared this day, March 16, as a special non-working holiday across Negros Oriental. On the eve of Degamo's burial, Army Commanding General Romeo Browner visited his wake. Browner promised that the armed forces will restore peace and order in the province.
Gusto natin makita yung sitwasyon dito sa area para makita natin kung paano natin gawan ng paraan para hindi na maulit na magamit ang ating mga sundalo, especially our Philippine Army soldiers, sa mga ganitong gawaing mga illegal.
President Bongbong Marcos, meanwhile, ordered the creation of a special panel of prosecutors. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla said the group will look into, quote, pattern of impunity in Negros Oriental. Remulla added that they have already identified persons of interest in the killings over the past years.
No special instructions, but of course, the cases are there. Basta ano yan, we are now we are constituting a panel of prosecutors to handle the Negros Oriental cases, and that's an instruction of the president to make sure that a panel that's skilled at this level of skill is already there to evaluate the cases so that no stones will be left unturned.
Negros Oriental Representative Arnie Tevis is seeking a 2-month leave of absence in Congress. House Speaker Martin Romualdez confirmed receiving the letter of request from the congressman. Tevis, who is currently in the United States, cited, quote, a very grave threat to his life and his family. The Solon is now being implicated in the murder of Governor Roel Degamo, but has since denied any involvement. Tevis is also facing charges in relation to 3 separate killings in 2019. Earlier, a House panel discussed Tevis' extended stay abroad and is now looking at possible violations. The lawmaker's family maintains that Tevis is innocent and is only being dragged into the Degamo slay case not because of politics but because of a business feud. Here's the report.
The House Committee on Ethics is investigating the absence of Negros Oriental Representative Arnie Tevis without official leave. Members want to determine if Tevis violated any rule of the House of Representatives and if they should impose disciplinary actions against the lawmaker.
Options dito, of course, we are on the administrative aspect to really recommend whatever disciplinary actions. Usually, gano'n naman, no? May suspension, pero kung come to worse, may expulsion at saka dropping on rolls.
Based on Tevis' travel authority, he left the country for the United States on February 28 for a personal trip. His travel authority expired on March 9, which means he should have been present in Congress by then. But until now, Tevis remains a no-show. Congress is giving Tevis 5 days to explain his expired travel authority. Tevis' absence, meanwhile, comes on the back of his being tagged in the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo and 8 others. Tevis' lawyer says his client is fearing for his safety. The Tevis family believes that accusations against the congressman rooted from a business feud and not politics. Tevis is allegedly linked to gambling operations in Negros Oriental.
I don't think it's political because politically wala nang motive eh. But when it's business, on the business side, and just political, it's money-wise.
The family refused to drop names but said that a supposed gambling lord from Luzon wants to enter the Negros Oriental market. The Tevis family suspects that the Degamo slay is only being used by Tevis' rivals. The PNP Special Investigation Task Group says they will look into this angle in their investigation.
Sa start na yan, consider of course, sabi nga, everything was considered at the start. Pero as the investigation unfolds, it narrowed down to such political rivalry, personal grudge.
Meanwhile, President Marcos has instructed the Justice Department to create a special panel of prosecutors that will focus on the Degamo case. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla says they will look into over 20 cases of killing in Negros Oriental where a pattern of impunity is observed. Remulla says they already have a list of persons of interest.
No special instructions, but of course the cases are there. That's an instruction of the president to make sure that a panel that's skilled at this level is already there to evaluate the cases so that no stones will be left unturned.
Arnie Tevis, we are One News.
Surigao del Norte Representative Ace Barbers pushes to institutionalize drug courts. Congressman Barbers called to amend the Dangerous Drugs Act, saying this will help solve the problem on drug recycling. This after lawmakers unearthed a supposed scheme among informants offering work in exchange for a portion of the seized drugs to bring back out to the streets. 2 police officers were also cited in contempt during a Senate committee hearing for lying about their involvement in stealing a portion of the haul from a drug bust. Congressman Barbers told the chiefs that institutionalizing drug courts will hasten prosecution and destruction of drug hauls.
There has to be a specific focused prosecution dito sa class kasi kailangan mabilisan.
Mabilis, yes.
Otherwise, ang mangyayari ito, there's a tendency na bumalik sa kalsada, may benta. In fact, there are cases also na dahil sa tagal, yung mga possible witnesses ay namamatay.
Yes.
So, we want a fast and swift prosecution dito sa mga drug offenders na to.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. This year's Balikatan exercise between the Philippine and U.S. military is all set. Balikatan spokesperson Colonel Michael Lohico said 17,600 troops are expected to participate in the annual combined joint exercise. Lohico said the training, which would be the biggest to date, will focus on interoperability as well as maritime and coastal defense. The 2023 Balikatan exercise is scheduled to take place from April 11 to 28 in several areas in the country, including northern Luzon and Palawan.
When we train with the Americans, it is always an opportunity for us to learn something new. Of course, we can always train by ourselves. Yun nga lang, if you train by yourself, there is a certain limit on what you can learn. Whenever you train with another country, the learning opportunity widens, and it's also a way for us to check our standards.
The Philippine Coast Guard leaves it to the owner company of the MT Princess Empress to explain the permit it presented to the PCG. This as the PCG published a copy of the document after the Senate discovered that the oil tanker had not secured a permit before setting sail. According to the PCG, the crew of the MT Princess Empress has presented the said document on 4 different trips. The PCG also admits that it cannot actually verify the permit, as it is the Maritime Industry Authority that processes the paper. The Coast Guard also explains that the general assumption when presented with a permit is that the document went through proper channels. The PCG says it is now looking into the supposed lapse on the station's part and its failure to tick the permit on its list of requirements.
Ang paliwanag sa atin nung station kahapon, parang honest mistake yung kanilang sinasabi. Pero of course, hindi yun reason eh. Doon sa lumalabas doon sa aming initial investigation, parang hindi siya na-board, tinanggap lang nila yung documents at sinubmit ng mga crew doon sa station at hindi talaga siya na-board. So yun ang yung pinabibistigahan niya.
In other news, the Justice Department has indicted 7 members of the Gamma Phi Fraternity for the death of Adamson University student John Matthew Salilig. State prosecutors found probable cause to charge 7 Gamma Phi Fraternity members from Adamson University for violating the anti-hazing law of 2018. These are Earl Romero, Tung Cheng Teng Jr., Jerome Ochoco Balot, Sandro Victorino, Michael Ricalde, Mark Munoz Pedrosa, and Daniel Perry. The DOJ will also file 2 separate criminal information against the suspects for violation of the Act prohibiting violent initiation rights. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 9:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I am Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.